para fazer filmes. E aí, felizmente, apareceu um filme. Uma oferta para eu ir para Hollywood para um teste para um filme chamado The Miracle, que Irving Rapper ia dirigir e no qual Carol Baker ia atuar. Quando eu terminei The Miracle, eles queriam me ter sob contrato. E começamos fazendo uma série de televisão chamada The Alaskans. Houve uma greve de roteiristas e pegamos os roteiros de Maverick e eles não se importaram. Bom, eles mudaram os nomes, mas não mudaram os diálogos. Eu substituí Gene Gardner em Maverick. Disseram que eu não estava substituindo Gene Gardner, mas todas as roupas de Gardner tiveram que ser apertadas 2 centímetros na cintura.
Ele se tornou o primo Bo Maverick. Eu acho que após um tempo houve muita rebelião. James Garner se rebelou e muitos outros astros também. E por isso, quando The Alaskans chegou ao fim, Roger decidiu voltar para a Inglaterra e ver se fazia uma outra coisa.
I'm afraid I gave up the song and dance routine a long time ago.
What do you mean routine? We want you on the show just as you are. The one and only, unique, unbeatable, famous Simon Templar.
Eu acho que a oportunidade que Roger teve estrelando The Saints foi a que todo ator sonha. O herói romântico que se envolvia em todos os tipos de aventuras concebíveis que alguém pode se envolver. E é claro, agora é história, porque parece que foi arquivada para sempre.
The Saint era um tanto como Roger. Ele quase que interpretava ele mesmo. Muito charmoso, esperto, muito bonito, um perfeito galã. Tudo que o público mundo afora amava e adorava no Roger.
E aí, Sean anunciou que seu último seria Diamonds Are Forever. Eu recebi um telefonema de Harry Saltzman, dizendo: Cubby e eu queremos que você faça o Bond. Eles estavam procurando por um outro Bond e chegaram a mim e concordaram que eu devia fazer. A Cubby me ligava dizendo: Harry acha que você é muito gordo, e aí eu emagrecia. Depois Harry me ligava e dizia: o Cubby acha que você tem um cabelo muito grande, corte o cabelo. E eu ficava emagrecendo e cortando o cabelo. No fim eu fiquei tão desesperado que disse: por que vocês não pegaram logo um ator magro de cabelo curto? Por que me fizeram passar por essa tortura?
Ele tem um tremendo senso de humor e é muito bom esquiador. Esquia levemente sobre a própria vida e personalidade. E faz isso no trabalho também.
O Sean, eu espero não estar deturpando, é um escocês muito sério, que pode, porém, aliviar seus atos. E o Roger é um tipo de caráter radiante, que ocasionalmente é obrigado a entristecer seus atos.
Eu não acho que conscientemente procurei fazer um Bond diferente. Guy Hamilton disse uma coisa. Bom, não vamos dizer aquelas coisas ligadas ao Sean: martini mexido, não batido.
Quando Sean Connery fazia James Bond, ele o fazia como um mulherengo. E quando Roger Moore fazia Bond, ele o fazia como homem que talvez se casasse com a heroína se as circunstâncias fossem certas.
There's really nothing very much for us to do tonight. Or is there?
Oh, darling, I'm tempted.
Nunca havia uma tremenda sensação de sexualidade rompante. É sempre sedução com um toque muito, muito leve e um sorriso. E com as mulheres, eu acho que a diferença entre Sean e Roger era que Sean as levava para a cama e Roger ria com elas.
Good afternoon.
Roger trouxe uma coisa diferente ao personagem e chegou numa hora em que Bond precisava de uma mudança. Se continuasse no mesmo filão, acho que Bond teria se tornado sério e envelhecido.
Eu me lembro de um dia em que eu disse a ele, você vai ver a luta de Muhammad Ali? E ele ficou muito violento ao falar sobre boxe. Ele disse, odeio boxe, odeio tudo ligado à violência física. Essa foi a única vez em que eu vi ser violento, me dizendo que ele não era violento.
As cenas fortes que pedimos que ele fizesse, raramente tínhamos que refazer.
Ele fez muitas dessas cenas. Muitas das que ele teve que fazer exigiam muito dele fisicamente. E tendo estado em algumas dessas cenas, eu sei como elas exigem de você.
Eu sempre tive muita sorte de achar dublês que se pareciam muito comigo. Por que esse sucesso continuado da série de filmes? Eu acho que é porque o público nunca foi enganado. O dinheiro que foi posto na tela é o lado confortante de uma história para dormir. As crianças gostam de ouvir a mesma história todas as noites. E você não pode mudar nada. Não foi assim. A bruxa apareceu e aí aconteceu. Eu acho que Bond se tornou um velho amigo do público. Eles sabiam que a cada 2 anos havia um grande lançamento de ação, glamour e humor.
Get my curiosity, but what is that?
That's my little octopusy.
What an unexpected pleasure. Welcome to the Majaba Club.
Ele é tão boa pinta e agradável que sempre teve que fazer o herói distinto. Eu sempre senti, nunca falei sobre isso com ele, mas eu sempre senti que Roger iria adorar fazer um tipo como Hannibal Lecter ou alguma personagem muito má. Ele iria adorar.
Após 7 Bonds, eu acho que senti que todos já tinham tido demais de mim. E eu já tinha tido demais de Bond. Embora eu me orgulhe de ter feito razoavelmente o papel. Ia ficar muito esquisito um James Bond velho paquerando as mocinhas.
Roger é um dos poucos atores que eu acho que ficou mais bonito com a idade. Ele ainda tem o charme e o brilho travesso em suas expressões faciais. E eu acho que é assim que as pessoas vão se lembrar do Roger. Que ele teve um lugar maravilhoso como um galã charmoso e bem-humorado.
Eu sempre tento lembrar qual foi o primeiro filme que eu vi. Eu sei que passava Tarzan naquela época. Não era o Elmo Lincoln, era Johnny Weissmuller. Eu não sabia que estaria naqueles palácios dos filmes onde um dia eu queria estar, naquelas telas enormes, fazendo aquilo. Eu teria prestado mais atenção, se eu soubesse.
Paul, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British hand up, sir.
Nobody does it better.
It's my third
You filmed here. You filmed in the Bondinho, the Pão de Açúcar. Would you like to try that again?
Thank you, no, very much. I don't want to go up that thing again. It's 85 years old, I gather, this week.
I'm sorry?
It's 85.
Yeah, 85 years old. I didn't know that. Yeah. So it's a good...
It's almost as old as I am.
It's a good day to travel inside.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of in the outside.
Yeah.
You travel all...
Eu tenho aqui ao meu lado o ator Roger Moore em campanha pela Unicef, mas eu vou falar um pouquinho de cinema com ele agora. Roger, I'd like to speak a little about the movies with you.
Movies? What about movies?
What about movies, for instance, the influence of such a charismatic character as James Bond in such a charismatic actor as Roger Moore?
Well, that's very nice of you to say.
No, it isn't. It's true.
I was very lucky to be able to play James Bond. I was lucky that I happened to be around when it came along. Now, take heart from this, because when there were two producers at that time, Harry Saltzman and Cubby Broccoli. And Cubby called me and he said, Harry has agreed that we'd like you to do Bond. And then Harry called me and said, Cubby has agreed we'd like you to do Bond. And I said, great, and we discussed what the possible deal would be. And then Harry called me and says, Cubby thinks you're a little heavy, you should take a little weight off. So I said, all right, I'll take a little weight off. Harry called me, Cubby called me, and said, Harry thinks your hair's too long. And they kept cutting my hair, and I kept losing weight, and eventually I became thin and almost bald. I said, why didn't you get a thin actor without hair to play the part in the first place?
Bald. Bond. You know that my wife is 30 years old, and you are the perfect James Bond. She's a fan of your James Bond. There is no other James Bond. No Sean Connery.
She's a lady with great taste.
Great taste. I believe that too.
And there are, something that I like very much about your acting, that you always put your personal touch of humor in every character you play.
Yeah, because I don't believe in heroes. Well, I don't believe in the fact that I can play a hero because I'm very cowardly.
They are the best heroes.
Yeah, I suppose they are. Yeah, I mean, if you consider that I got outside the cable car on the sugar lift,
yeah,
and I'm scared stiff of heights.
You are?
I ski every day in the winter, and I'm scared stiff of heights. But I make myself do it. So I suppose in that way I'm heroic.
As a matter of fact, we have the first film we have here to show. It's, let me see, A View to a Kill. In Portuguese, it was called Na Mira dos Assassinos, where you are skiing. O Villain, solta aí o filme, por favor, pra gente ver aqui. Let's take a look. I didn't know you were so good, Roger. Fantastic. I'm amazed. There are two non-James Bond films that you made that I like very much. One of them is The Naked Face. This sense of humor.
Irony, self-irony. Yes.
Yes, not sarcasm, irony.
Irony, yes, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose so. I really can't believe. You say you don't believe in James Bond.
You don't?
No.
Well, I don't believe in James Bond either, but I believe in the actor who's behind Bond.
No, you see, so you play it with humor because I do not believe that a spy is somebody who's known by everybody.
Yeah,
he walks into a bar and the barman says, "Oh, you want a martini shaken, stirred, Mr. Bond?" I mean, what sort of spy is that? You're going to get boom right between the eyes, you know.
You know that during the war there was a poison bug. Which
It's
Bond?
still buzzing around in there.
Yeah. Which Bond picture did you got more pleasure out of it, or actually they're very difficult to do because...
I enjoy The Spy Who Loved Me most.
Mm-hmm.
Because the locations I enjoyed particularly, it started off in Sardinia,
mm-hmm.
which was just beautiful. I got to be the first person to ride a wet bike, across the sea. I liked being in Egypt. I had a great deal of fun out of making the picture because the director, Louis Gilbert, has the same sense of humor that I do.
So that's good, man.
That's good. And he also buys UNICEF.
Brasil. That's good, man.
That's good. And he also buys UNICEF.
O Brasil recebeu uma visita muito importante, a de Roger Moore, o ex-agente James Bond, que agora tem uma missão ainda mais difícil. Ele é um embaixador internacional da UNICEF. Sua luta é pelos direitos das crianças do mundo inteiro.
I worked it out that every 7 seconds in the world a child died. To do a lot of interviews. Endless, which I always hated doing when I was making Bond. I used to dread the number of interviews that would happen the next day. But there again it's exactly like producing a new soap product, putting it in a supermarket. Unless you tell people it's in the supermarket, they're not going to buy it. So you make a film, you have to sell it. But it was very hard work, and I got rather bored talking about myself. Audrey and I knew her longer than most people, because when we were both in our very early 20s, we modeled together. I forget, it was for some skin cream, and I'm not sure whether I was looking over her shoulder or she was looking over mine. And then the years passed, and Audrey became very successful, and we ended up becoming neighbors in Switzerland. Long before Audrey joined UNICEF, she would ask me to do things up there connected with children. The local school, would you come along and give out the prizes and things like that? She was always interested in the welfare of children around her, and I think UNICEF became her natural home. It also became her grave, because instead of being back in a hospital having treatment for the cancer that killed her, she in that year was in Somalia and in the US drumming up support for the cause.
People are very fond of you. I mean, I think you're part of our lives. I mean, I think react that way, don't they? Don't you feel that way? I mean, warm?
Well, I've been around so long. Yeah, I'm like a piece of old furniture.
Not nice, eh?
Everybody wants to sit on me. Caesar and Cleopatra, and I was an extra. You would have had a hell of a job to find me. That was made in 1944.
You were very young at the time. 16?
I was 16, yes. Some friends who had been injured and been released from the army, and I used to go swimming with them, and they were mostly out of work, and they said, come along, we got a job as extras on this film. The next thing I knew, I was doing a test doing an audition for the Royal Academy, the Dramatic Art RADA, and I was an actor. Well, I was given a card, it said actor. The critics have disagreed over the years, but one tries. I'd done a couple of plays in London, and I was doing a season of Shaw in Cambridge. And then the army caught up with me, and I spent 3 years in the army. In the last few months, I got transferred to the entertainments, a branch that produced shows. And when I came out of the army, I was supposed to be going under contractor rank, and they were cutting back their list. And so I didn't. So I was a struggling actor. I did a lot of repertory in a stock theatre. The early days of television, when there was none of this luxury of things being on tape, it was all live. You did a play, if it ran for 3 hours, it ran for 3 hours. If you forgot your lines, somebody shouted them at you. And then I went to America, and I suppose I was a different fish in the goldfish bowl in New York, and I was offered a contract by MGM. I didn't think they were going to exercise their option. I went back to England to do a play, and they then exercised, and I arrived in Hollywood in April Fool's Day, 1954. 54, to make a picture called The Last Time I Saw Paris. You're better at it than I am. I can't remember. I barely remember my name. Well, the contract system was wonderful, you know, because you got paid every week. But what happens is that to actors is that when they get paid every week, they become very ungrateful. So everybody hates the front office. And I left MGM, and then I did a television series called Ivanhoe for Columbia. And then I was offered a contract by Warner Brothers. I went back to make a film called The Miracle.
Another one.
Boy, you've done your homework, haven't you?
Kind of business.
It's amazing the items of information you store away.
I also made a film there called The Sins of Rachel Cage with Andrew Dickinson and Peter Finch. And then I left and I came back to Europe, and I'd been living at that point of 6, 7 years in America. And I realized that I was a European. I thought, Hollywood was wonderful. Beverly Hills, I sat around pools drinking rum on Saturday nights, barbecues. I thought, I didn't realize how wonderful it was to be part of Europe. And so I stayed on, and then I made a couple of films in Italy, and then I was offered The Saint, which went on for 6 or 7 years.
Fine. Always had a hankering to go to Rio, sir.
Welcome to Rio, Mr. Botting. It was fairly hard work. I don't particularly like heights, and we spent an awful lot of time on Sugarloaf Mountain, on top of the cable car. The interesting is when you make film and you're working to music playback, you say, right, we'll pick it up from that point or that point. But we'd filmed the year before with the real carnival, picked out what we wanted for the carnival we were going to stage. And so the musicians really had to go work to playback. But they couldn't do that. They always had to go right back to the beginning. So there would be 20 minutes of drum beating before each take. I was exhausted for all of that. People say, were you nervous about taking over Sean Connery? Why would one be nervous about taking over from somebody else? 40,000 actors have played Hamlet. You all play it in your own way. Those sort of heroes are very one-dimensional in terms of what is in the script, and so you make up your own background for the person. And being lazy, you make him look like you and sound like you. And I play it with humor. Yeah. Because I don't believe in heroes particularly, not in that type of hero. I mean, what sort of spy is he that is known everywhere? Spies are anonymous people. I remember I wanted to do a film called Day of the Jackal. John Wolfe, who produced it, wanted me.
Playing the killer?
To play the Jackal. And Freddie Zinnemann, who directed it, didn't want me. And quite naturally, the director had his way. I didn't have a chance to convince him I could have done it, but a couple of years later, we had dinner together in Paris. And I said, why was it? And he said, for a very simple reason. He said, I'm not trying to butter you up, make you happy. He said, because you were too well known. You were too accepted as the saint at the time. The Jackal had to be somebody who would not be noticed in a crowd. He said, you're 6'1", and you've got a straight nose. I said, oh, that makes me feel better, but I'd rather have the money. I had a little bit of fun a couple of months ago. The Spice Girls asked me to appear in their movie, The Spice Girls, the movie. I just happened to be free, because they offered me a lot of money.
Well, that's a really good reason to do it.
Enough of me talking about myself. What do you think of me? In Brazil, I know that you have subtitles going this way under my face as I speak, and so I would like to remind you that Christmas is coming, and that UNICEF greeting cards are one of the important parts of our fundraising activities. It helps the children. I know in Brazil you love children. So don't forget, help the children. Thank you very much.